And call to order the regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners, June 16th. Do a roll call, please.
Commissioner Ernst is absent this evening. Commissioner Engel,
Here.
Commissioner Rollins,
Here.
Commissioner Vogelsang,
Here.
Commissioner Wright.
Here. Any changes to the agenda tonight? Nope. Okay, we'll open the floor to public requests. You can go to the podium if you have anything to talk to us about tonight. You have 3 minutes. Please state your name and your address. Yep.
Eric Sauer, 2034 Southwest 8th Ave, here on behalf of Boca Raton Little League. Wanted to thank you guys again. Understand we're well underway. Lights are installed in both parks. As a sign of our gratitude, I'd like to invite you all formally to throw out the first pitch on September 20th at our opening day. So if you guys would like to come, Melissa knows how to get a hold of me. Please, everyone, all of you are invited. Please come out, throw the inaugural pitch on our opening day as a thank you for getting all this done for us. That's all I got.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Eric.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is David Petrucelli, 920 Lago Mar Lane, Boca Raton. I understand the lift station is on tonight's agenda, and I understand there still may be some, it sounds more like a floating conditional agreement, floating easement. I don't know if the legal description's been defined yet. And also, if there are some things, due diligence that this developer wants to do there, such as geotechnical, hydrology, or archaeological studies, surveys, etc., that this be done prior to granting the easement with that legal description. I think it would save a lot of potential problems in the future. Other than that, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Mike Graham. I live at 963 Northeast 24th Street. I'm also here to discuss the proposed lift station on the Ocean Strand property. I certainly understand that the district has no say into who will hook into this system. My point is to any city officials here in that I would hope that all structures and residents in that area would be allowed to hook into this system. That would include the property at 2330 North Ocean Boulevard, which is on the east side of A1A. And I'm just hoping the city will allow that property be included in that. Thank you.
Sir, I did speak with the Utility Services Director, and he did say that all properties will have the opportunity to connect to this lift station, including, I asked specifically about your property, and he said, in fact, you would be able to.
Well, it's not my property, but thank you for checking into that.
Location I asked about.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Lynn Newberry. I live at 5424 Grand Park Place in Boca. I've been in South Florida since 1970 when I graduated from college. I want to speak on behalf of the skate park. And I am 75 years old, so I've been skating for probably 65 of those years. And we were back when my dad had to make my skateboard out of the wheels off those skates with the keys. So it's come a long way since then. I just wanted to say that a small percentage, a very small percentage, like all sports of youth, have given skateboarding a bad rap. It has changed dramatically over the years. The skate community is super encouraging, supportive. They get the kids and the families out into nature, not on their couches, in their rooms, watching whatever they're watching on TV. So I just feel that it's needed because basketball players, tennis players, pickleball players have their courts. Baseball players have their fields. Where do the skaters go? They go to places that aren't safe or they're not wanted. And as for the noise, with new technology, the wheels, everything on boards are much smoother and quieter than they ever were when we all were kids. And there's more noise at a playground with kids shrieking, but they're shrieking in delight, I know. Pickleball courts, baseball, when someone's up to bat and they're hitting a good run, you hear everyone cheering. You don't hear that at skate park. All you hear is quiet encouragement and support of each other. And it's just so needed here. There are so many skaters and there's no place for them to go, especially with the new park that will be taken away. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? No, we'll go ahead and close public requests and we'll do approval of the minutes of the previous board meeting held on June 2nd.
Move to approve?
Second.
Okay, roll call please.
Commissioner Engel,
Yes.
Commissioner Rollins.
Yes.
Commissioner Vogelsang,
Yes.
Commissioner Wright.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay, moving on to regular business. Item number 1, the special needs programming presentation.
Commissioners, the first item on your agenda packets is a brief memo on page 5 of your agenda packets. This board obviously has a longstanding commitment to an underserved population in our community, those with different abilities and special needs. In November of 2024, this board asked our partners at the city how they could better use an underutilized facility at Patrick Park. So tonight we have the staff here to make a presentation to you on a special needs program that would enhance our recreational offerings and provide programming to an underserved element of our recreational community. So tonight I'm going to introduce to you our Deputy Director of Recreation Services, Tiffany Lucia, and she is going to introduce you to her staff here to present the program.
Thank you very much, Brianne. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today to present. I speak on behalf of all of Recreation Services when I say how much we appreciate your support in pursuing our shared mission, which is to provide recreational services for all members of our community. And that's what we're here to talk about today. I'm very excited to introduce a new initiative that we've been working on, particularly the two ladies I'm going to have come up here in a moment. This program is in direct alignment with that mission, and we refer to it as the Community Accessibility Program. You'll hear it probably referred to as CAP throughout the presentation today. The program is specifically designed to serve individuals with special needs and to provide accessible, meaningful recreational opportunities that support emotional, physical, and social well-being. We are proposing this program to be housed at James A. Rutherford Community Center, and even taking it a step further, for James Rutherford Community Center to become a hub for recreational needs and services in the community. We think that with a little creativity, with a little TLC, we believe that space could be a wonderful home for the program and serve a population that is often underrepresented in our community. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and turn things over to two of our very talented supervisors in our department. They have been working diligently on the program and have been instrumental in putting this proposal together. They're going to get down into some of the specifics. They're going to talk a little bit about the mission and vision of the program, as well as talk about the community impact we believe it will have. Jacqueline Windus, who is our Recreation Centers manager. She has been with us with the city for over several years and has extensive experience in program development and facility management. And joining her is Allison Reeves. She's been with us now for a little over a year. She comes to us from the YMCA with an extensive background in special needs programming, and recently getting her master's degree in applied behavioral analysis. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to them, and I thank you again for your time and support.
All right. Okay, thank you, Tiffany, for the introduction. Thank you, Brianne and Commissioners, for giving us the opportunity to be here to present this afternoon. Again, I'm Jackie Windus. With me is Allison Reeves. We're really excited to introduce to you the Community Accessibility Program, or CAP. So CAP is the program dedicated to enhancing quality of life for persons with disabilities and their families by fostering community building programs, providing resources, and offering education and training.
There we go. We wanted to put together some numbers that capture the true size of the population that we aim to serve with CAP. Here in Palm Beach County, there are 173,543 persons living with a disability, according to the U.S. Census data that was last collected in 2023. Of this population, 10,624 of them are children under the age of 17. 12,680 of them are between the ages of 18 and 34. Represented on the left is how disability is impacting the lives of these individuals. And as a disclaimer, these numbers will not total to 100%. In other words, often a diagnosis will have one or more of the following impacts on a person's life. These are commonly referred to as comorbidities. For instance, somebody with an ambulatory might also be represented in the category of individuals who will never be able to live on them by themselves. The large numbers under each category is the number of persons 0 to 34 who experience a disability with that expressed limitation. From left to right, we have auditory, cognitive, visual, ambulatory, self-care impairments, and the last category is inability to live on one's own. These are not the only ways that disability can impact a person's life, but they are categories recorded by the census that can be used to demonstrate the need in our community. When we take a look at the overall number of people in our county with a disability and comparatively look at the municipalities to the south, the population in Palm Beach County does not have access to the resources that would support the size of this population. The average drive time to Miami is 90 minutes and to Pompano is 41 one way. The large number to the left of the line is the number of programs, and to the right is the number of events that are in each of these centers' program guides for this season. Below that, we have the population of a person with disability in that service area. The image represents programming. The image represents programming in each of these centers. So we have field trips, sports programs, dances, leisure time activities like art or photography, cooking, and social skills groups. The Azalea Center is located in St. Petersburg and is included here because in talking with representatives from the Florida Recreation and Parks Association, it is considered the gold standard. They represent a considerably smaller population and have a comprehensive program guide with programs, activities, and events.
In our local community, when a parent looks for resources, the following programs are available to them. There are 8,569 people with disability in Boca Raton, and 1,318 of them are 0 to 18. To the right, we have a grid with some of the main program types or resources parents seek out. After school, vocational activities, day programs, parent support groups, specialty schools, play spaces, sports programs, camps, and drop-in activities. Seeing the number of choices these parents have as opposed to the Recreator full of activities and events that a neurotypical or able-bodied individual has highlights the gap in services that we provide as a city. The CAP program at Rutherford Community Center, James A. Rutherford Community Center, is a series of spaces, activities, and resources designed to provide leisure, learning, and development opportunities for persons with disabilities. Over the course of the next few slides, we're going to review the space, programming plans, and the resources the center staff will create, as well as our goals for growth.
The facility is laid out with 3 main rooms, a smaller room that was once a conference room, offices, a kitchen, and bathrooms, all stemming off of one main hallway. The rooms on the map are labeled by the function we would like them to serve: the clubhouse, the patio, the sensory room, the art room, and the training room. The clubhouse is the main room, and here we'll have permanent interactive installations, a lounge area for board games, tabletop activities, and rotational pieces like a carpet for toddler play and activities. Overall, this space will be a place that we can host programs, open play, parent support groups, and social skills groups.
Outside, the sensory room is constructed in the small room between the kitchen and the training room. Oh, now we're back to the patio, sorry. Outside on the patio, we'll host markets, family movie nights. Go back. On the patio, we're going to host markets, family movie nights, garden parties, and events. The outdoor patio space is going to function as our canvas for creativity with flexible seating and arrangements. The sensory room is constructed in the small room between the kitchen and the training room. It's going to be a member-only access room to ensure it's available when someone needs it. This room will provide a calm space rather than a play space. Will feature low lighting, soft play mats, and allow one to refocus and self-regulate.
Art is a form of expression that doesn't require language. This space will be used for parent respite activities, family art classes, youth programs, and art allows an individual to create and experiment with new mediums while developing and refining their fine motor skills. Classes and programs in this space will focus on leisure skills. At the center, we want to enhance quality of life for persons with disabilities. And part of executing that mission is providing trainings for parents, providers, and professionals to expand service opportunities and offerings. Trainings will address subject areas like safety, communication, available resources, and providing services.
Programs at the center will focus on creating opportunities to learn, grow, connect, and play. There will be art classes, job skills training, resources to use throughout the city like communication boards and social stories, movie nights on the patio, markets, and parent support groups. Overall, we aim to provide a comprehensive program guide with something for the whole family. While resources will be available for parents and participants to use in the facility, we would like to also broaden our reach by making the resources available for patrons online. This would ensure parents have access to social stories in advance to their visit to any city location, a sensory map of one of our parks without having to stop by the facility, and ensure that resources are available when a parent or provider needs them. By creating more opportunities for exposure, we'll be able to provide accessibility resources for more people. On our page, we'll have social scripts, sensory maps, tools for talking, partnership opportunities, and parent resource support. To enhance awareness of the program and bring accessibility to events and programs throughout the city, we will have the CAP button. This button will live on the landing page of all of the sites and events to tell parents and potential participants about the resources that CAP will be providing and that will make that event accessible.
The Community Accessibility Program at JARCC will not exclude participants that are able-bodied or neurotypical. Membership will be available for families and individuals with disabilities. This membership is free to apply for, and to qualify, a participant must have a disability listed in the DSM-5 or be working with Child Find if they are under school age. This will ensure that priority registration and access is given to individuals with disabilities without excluding others. Membership will allow priority registration, 25% off activities and programs, and access to amenities like the sensory room for de-escalation. In the same way that we would like to ensure that our resources are easily accessible for parents and families visiting our facilities and parks, we would like the same to be true for our community partners and providers. It will be important for us to find vendors and providers that align with the mission of CAP. And by creating easy access for applications and for facility and event information, we'll be able to capture a larger audience and ensure that programming remains new and innovative. And this will be listed on our webpage.
In line with being new and innovative, we plan to grow the program to be the new gold standard, and this starts with having a clear path to get there. The first step in that path will be to host staff training for all team members. By month 3, we will be developing and publishing social stories, scripts, and sensory maps for the community centers and other city facilities. In the same time frame, we will also be finalizing vendor contracts, hosting an opening, and launching programs. By month 6, we will be hosting trainings for internal city staff to increase participation in services available for CAP members across other facilities and programs within the city. Each program and open play opportunity will be carefully tracked to not only provide a controlled setting, but to also track our progress toward reaching the year-end goal of 50% participation. We will also be hosting at least one event per month, whether it's a market, a movie night, or a parent appreciation day. In year 2, we plan to continue our momentum by hosting an inclusion initiative meeting. There's a South Florida initiative that meets typically in Boynton Beach. We've had the pleasure of attending this meeting in the past month. This group is comprised of municipalities, businesses, and nonprofit organizations with a shared mission to support persons with disabilities across South Florida. We would like to host one of these meetings or supplemental meeting to establish ourselves as a resource and a standard of excellence. We also plan to create a staple community event centered around disability awareness, become an autism certified center, which requires 80% of the frontline staff to be certified, extend offerings to adults, and have a fully comprehensive program board list with a variety of programs and events for our families to choose from.
By developing policies and procedures that define the composition and execution of the program, we ensure best practices are followed and shared. This enables the team to deliver consistent, high-quality services. In conclusion, our plan is to develop a model that can be replicated with the understanding that as a team, we're aiming to become the standard that people seek out as a resource. We will create a space that is family-centered, have programs recognized at the state level, and deliver consistent, innovative program offerings that enhance the quality of life for persons with disabilities and their families. We'd also like to build relationships with community partners to create a network of support for parents and families. Thank you for your time, and if you have any questions, we'd love to answer them.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? Steve, go ahead.
First of all, fantastic job. Thank you. Is this presentation available online on your website? No, not yet.
It will be.
Okay, because there's people that I know would benefit from seeing this. This is an underserved community and nice, very nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Susie?
Wow. I can't tell you how far reaching you're going to affect our community. With our 180 players in top soccer, I know that they're going to want to know more and they're going to want to be involved. I think the parents will want to be involved if you are willing to accept volunteers. So I definitely want to talk more to all of you because my heart's just going like this. Thank you for all the work that you put into this because it's very comprehensive. And I think that Boca Raton is going to have a place on the map in the special needs community.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
This is something like Steve said, it's long been needed. And it's been no more evident than with our fully accessible playground that we've had. We're serving a population that has not been served very well with, place to recreate. I compliment you on the wonderful presentation that you made. Just from, I'm going to ask the question my treasurer would ask. Do you have any idea of the budget that's involved with this? And are there, you mentioned there's some fees associated with participation, like registration fees or something. So
I think I can use this. Okay. So good question. Currently, the budget would probably not exceed what we were spending at James A. Rutherford Community Center in the past. As we progress with the program, we'll have better numbers. As far as revenues, we're going to be working with vendors like we do with our traditional community centers, just working with vendors who are in this field. So we'll still be engaging in those 70-30 splits or whatever split we determine maybe is more suitable for this type of environment. But it will financially function very similarly to a community center. Its programming and its essence will be geared toward the special needs community.
well, we've never been centered on trying to make a profit off of our athletic endeavors, and this is certainly one that we would support fully. Just going into it, just wanted to have some ideas to, the
Understood.
programming elements and the revenue stream that you might have. And congratulations. I know we have others on this commission and staff that are excited about the possibility of what you're doing, Tiffany, and my compliments to you and the staff here who put this program together.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we're very excited about it. It's been a long time coming. So we're happy with, Brianne's help and support. We've been able to get some traction, and we're hoping that over the next few months, we'll start to make some inroads, and hopefully by early 2026, we're starting to open and starting to have some offerings. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks, guys. So is this something that everybody's in consensus that we want to move forward with?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes? Okay.
Do we need a motion?
No.
If there's consensus, no objection, that will be direction to your director.
Okay.
I just have one question to Brianne. And since this is an endeavor that's going to involve, working with children, and I don't know, it probably should consult with our insurance to make sure that we have the correct insurance, whether it's there's different levels of insurance that would probably be needed. I just want them to say grace over it, make sure they know what we're doing.
We'll send it over to them for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, moving on to regular business item number 2, the Ocean Strand Lift Station Agreement.
Right. Commissioners, it was not included in your agenda packets, but we did send out a supplemental material and it's available at the table as well as in your folders tonight. On this dates back to March 2023, when the city started working with the developer trying to coordinate a spot for a lift station. They came to us to ask if Ocean Strand was an opportunity that they could explore. This board voted to move forward with looking at that. So I've been working with our legal counsel on an agreement. I want to thank Sean Swartz for all of his work on this. We've been working on this, like I said, for 2 years, trying to get an agreement worked out. This agreement will also include reimbursement for all the legal fees that we've spent on this, we're expecting to total about $20,000 in legal fees getting to this point with the agreement. I do want to say tonight, if you decide to approve this, as was mentioned earlier in public comment, it would be a motion to approve with the condition that the legal description, when it's provided, matches what we've been told as far as the picture that they kind of gave us. I did reach out to Utility Services to ask for more specific drawings if they had them. I have not gotten back anything from them. But tonight we have this agreement. As far as the terms of the agreement, nothing in there would change except for where this is placed. The legal description would have to match that location before we would sign off on it. So just,
And I would just also
Yes.
like to supplement Brianne's comments. One of the speakers had mentioned some engineering and archaeological analyses. Both of those things are contemplated by the agreement as drafted. In the event that the civil engineers involved or a PhD archaeologist found that there was an issue and a need to readjust the location, that's all contemplated by the agreement. As Brian indicated, we're just working with the developer to finalize the legal description for the actual easement location. So if the board was inclined to approve the item this evening, we would just ask that approval be subject to that final confirmation.
we did allow some boring to begin on site, and they do have an archaeologist monitoring the work that they do as they've started that process.
Okay, go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the utility easement agreement for Ocean Strand Lift Station, subject to the legal description.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion?
Yeah, I mentioned this to Brian briefly. I noticed that the easement runs adjacent to the roadway that's coming into,
Yes.
is that going to be an issue with traffic the way Boca drivers are? I'm worried about, vehicles going over the runway, the road that's in there and causing some damage to that.
Right now, we don't have any traffic in there because we don't allow the car traffic, but I have been informed by Chris Helfrich again that it won't impede any future development if we wanted to add parking as far as where this lift station is placed.
Yeah, I was just concerned that if there was, if it's too close to the roadway that, vehicles that coming in there for one reason or the other, if they were commercial vehicles too, would they do any damage to the piping that would be going underneath, adjacent to the roadway? That's,
Sure hope not.
well,
We'll verify with
I mean,
Chris.
realistically, I mean, it can happen.
Yes.
And I just want to be sure that, there's enough space there that, if they do go off the paved road that, and they do happen to be on top of that roadway, that there's not, I mean, on top of that piping, that there's not going to be an issue.
Okay.
So, the depth of the pipe will probably be important, but I just throw that out there as a concern that I had just looking at how close it was to the road.
Just remind me, how many houses again are still on septic here and how many are going to be going on? They're all going to be going on to this?
It's like 26 or 28, but there's also some private lift stations out there that they would like to move to this lift station as well.
Mhm. And you said that the city has not reached out to the.
I'm not sure. I reached out to the Utility Services Director to find that information out, and I have not heard back from him.
Because I'd like to know if I think it's important to know whether the residents, is this something that they want out there? I know it's important to Craig. He wants a bathroom out there real bad. That's not very important to me. I'm looking at the positives and the negatives of this lift station, and if it's something that,
I think they've mentioned that if it's the right location, I think that they've mentioned that they would like it.
Mhm.
Obviously, septic is terrible for the environment. I will say that if this is something that we choose not to do, and this is not, I mean, was not meant as a threat in any way, but just I guess, clarity on the situation. If they have to move this lift station to private property and later on this district decides to build a restroom, we would have to construct our own lift station and maintain our own lift station, which is obviously
Mhm. And
not
how-
necessarily something I would want to be involved
And it's
with.
far enough away from the homes that are located right here where they won't hear anything coming from the lift station.
They're also going to have sound barriers. We've put in there that they have to do landscaping.
Okay.
And replace everything that's there as well. Any landscaping that comes out, they have to replace with native vegetation per code, all in the agreement. And I have to say, Sean and I went through the last construction easement together when we had to go through that process and a lawsuit ensued. So we were very diligent on making sure a lot of those things were covered in this agreement.
Okay, I guess the question is, do we want to go forward without the legal description, or do we want to wait and wait for the legal description to come through, and so we know exactly where it is before we approve it?
Just a couple of things. I lost count about 6 or 8 months ago of the people that have asked me when bathrooms are coming to Ocean Strand. So there's a demand for us to put bathrooms at Ocean Strand. The other part of it is that this agreement is conditioned on that on the description of that location. So if it's not the right location, and Counselor, correct me if I'm wrong, if that location does not meet with our approval, this agreement is null and void.
The easement location, the legal description must be to the satisfaction of your executive director, and our office is also involved in that review process.
All right, so I don't think we're risking anything at this point by approving this and going forward. We're going to need bathrooms there anyway. You know,
If we were
there's
provided a
a
legal description
demand.
that didn't match, we would bring this back
Yeah,
for you all.
that's
to
If
exactly.
there's any
Yeah.
deviation, it would come back to you. That's
Yeah.
right.
One second,
And
1 second.
Yeah.
Is it okay? Do you
Sure.
guys?
Sure.
Okay, so you have to go up to the podium though, again.
David Petroselli, 920 Lagomar Lane. I don't know, I just saw a brief outline of this agreement late this afternoon, glanced it over, and from what I'm reading, it says Exhibit A, there's no legal description. I know it's coming, but it also says a developer, not the district, the developer's civil engineer has the discretion regarding site conditions to move it to an appropriate place. I don't know what that means. I'm the most impacted for sure over here. And I don't understand why this can't be vetted and flushed out prior to having that legal description inserted.
So
it's not a
if they
big-
decide to move it, they have to give us a new legal description and that would come back before this board because the board is adopting it tonight on the condition that the legal description we receive matches that. So he has the right to decide to move it if it doesn't work where it's being located. But it doesn't mean that this board has to accept the new location.
Very
We would
good.
have to look at that legal description.
I'll finish that if I may. It states that any relocation shall remain generally consistent with the originally described easement area and shall be subject to the prior written approval and consent of the district's executive director, which shall not be unreasonably withheld. But as long as that relocation is consistent with the terms and conditions of the easement, this body has the authority to approve that location.
And shall not be closer than 75 feet to a residence. You know, do I find that offensive when this developer could put it on their own property, but it may potentially get rammed up against mine? Yeah, I find that a little offensive. And I don't know why a few minutes, you know, well, I've waited 80 years. We've waited 80 years to get sewer over there. We put in our own private lift station. I want it over there. The public wants it over there. But, you know, all this geotechnical, archaeological stuff, that could all be done probably within 30 days. And you know exactly what you have, and there shouldn't be any deviation from it. Is there any reason why it wouldn't, is my question. Thank you.
Mr. Petrozelli, I do know how important it is to keep it at a distance from your property. So if that were to change, that would absolutely come back before this board.
Call the question.
Yeah.
Was there a second? Was a
Did-
motion? Was there a
yeah.
second?
I think Steve seconded it. Did you have any more comments, Bob? No, you're good.
No, I was just going to make sure, you know, that I know Brienne will bring that to us if there is any deviation so that we can deliberate on that. So, but
100%.
it didn't specifically say that in the agreement there, but I'm confident that will occur.
Yes.
Okay.
Commissioner Engel,
Yes.
Commissioner Rollins.
Yes.
Commissioner Vogelsang,
Yes.
Commissioner Wright.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay, moving on to number 3, softball fields agreement.
Commissioners, page 6 of your agenda packets is a memo outlining the details of the softball agreement. This is the agreement that we have agreed to work with the city on replacing the softball fields located downtown and where the city's replacing or removing all the recreation downtown for their new campus master plan. These softball fields would replace the 2 downtown as well as a third one that is currently at Meadows Park. So they have in this agreement 4 softball fields. Obviously, if anything changes, they'd have to come back before us. I've outlined all that. I want to thank Susanna Naismith from our legal counsel's office who worked diligently on this agreement as well. We did a lot of back and forth with the city on this. So tonight we're just looking for approval. If the board approves this, the city will move forward with putting this on their agenda in July, at which point they would get to work on this. My understanding is that they're working on an 18-month timeline to replace the softball fields downtown before they are demoed to start the construction of their project downtown. And I know one of our commissioners asked earlier today to check out Tract A. This is the plat that we had done back when we started talking about disc golf. So Tract A is the only area at Sugar Sand Park that's able to be developed. All the other tracks are conservation. So Tract A on your upper corner there, on the corner of Military and Palmetto Park Road, is where Tract A is. And right now there's just picnic tables and some seating in those areas. So that's where the softball complex would go. In the agreement, we've included not only the softball fields, but also amenities, including parking, restrooms, concession area, walkways. So it'll all fit in. There's about 11 acres up there on Tract A that can be developed for this. And again, this is just to help the city out with trying to relocate their amenities downtown that they're removing for their new expansion.
Anybody have any questions?
I appreciate that we have the space for this, for the softball, but I'm, sorry that the memorial, which has been the site of a lot of history with kids coming in and playing softball and starting there, but I'm delighted that we're going to be able to put 4 softball fields together and have the city take care of the development costs.
Yes.
Yeah, I played at Memorial. I played at Meadows growing up. So to see those gone is sad, but I think it makes sense to put it. I mean, getting rid of the green space is not my favorite thing, but we still have the conservation areas, and we are helping out the city, and I hope they appreciate that.
I'm sure they do.
So I mean, I think it makes sense to put it here along with the baseball fields that we have. So anybody else? Nope. Okay, we need a motion.
Make a motion that we allow the city and honor this agreement to develop the 4 softball fields at Sugar Sand Park.
Second.
Commissioner Engel,
Yes.
Commissioner Rollins.
Yes.
Commissioner Vogelsang.
Yes.
Commissioner Wright.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay, moving on to approval of payroll and invoices. You're up.
Is that me?
Is that you? Yes.
To tonight, in absence of our treasurer.
Oh. Madam Chair, I have a request in front of you to approve the statement of $3,194,934.24 in this monthly disbursement.
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Commissioner Engel,
Yes.
Commissioner Rollins,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogelsang,
Yes.
Commissioner Wright.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay, moving on to reports and discussion items. Executive Director.
Commissioners, just a few items. I do want to bring up an item to discuss tonight. As you all know, we set up a reserve fund a couple of years ago to pay the bond off early for the west side of North Park. The bond terms established a 2032 payoff year. We had planned to pay that off, I think, in 2027. With our plan setting aside the reserve funds, we'd get it paid off early and cut that time cut that time down. I have worked with Merv Timberlake for several meetings we've had on this topic. We feel confident, and I feel very confident that we could move forward and pay that bond off now and own that property immediately. So that eliminates any question of whose property it is or what we can build out there, and we can get moving forward on that parcel. So with direction tonight, I just wanted to take a temperature of the board to see if this is something we'd like to put on the agenda to vote on at our next meeting, to pay the bond off as in this year, this fiscal year. There's a 30-day notice period. I spoke to Jim Zervis at the city. He's the CFO as well as the deputy city manager. He advised that Raymond James is open to eliminating any penalty fees right now because the interest rates have changed so much. So we just need to give a 30-day notice. And if the board would to vote on this in the next meeting, we can move forward with paying that off and amending our budget. And then we would own the west side. And we feel confident that we can do that without impacting any of our future projects, any maintenance on current facilities, as well as plans to develop things that we need like fields at DeHornley Park and those important aspects that we're working on. Just wanted to get a feel for how the board felt about that.
So you're just asking for not a motion today,
Not a
but
motion,
just,
but a direction if everybody's comfortable moving forward on that and taking a vote at our next meeting.
what is the payoff?
So right now we're down to 10.3. We just paid off this current year's payment.
And the catchword that caught my ear was the fact that you didn't see it impacting our future development of other properties. And
No.
we do have an immediate or a short-term need to develop something over at DeHornley.
Yes.
And that's my greatest concern that because we have a contract at other locations for facilities, and if that contract were to go away, we'd be short facilities if we didn't have that development done before that agreement was finished.
I feel confident we could do that without impacting that.
No, okay. Well, I'd be interested in taking a look at it on the putting it on the agenda for discussion. And I know Craig would like to weigh in on that too. So I just want to be sure that he's here when that's.
It definitely will be here. I have spoken to him about it, so he's aware of the conversation, but I would want him here for that vote as well.
All right.
Do you know something that I don't about phase 2? Are we moving forward on that anytime soon?
Do we think we're going to move forward anytime soon?
Yeah,
No?
I haven't heard anything.
No, well,
We need to is the thing.
we need to, we have a contract on some other facilities here in town that I'm not feeling real warm and fuzzy about it being renewed. And that's, was it 2035 on that agreement?
2030,
2030.
more
Okay,
imperative
so,
than ever to get field.
so, yeah, so we need to say to the city, if it's your property and you're going to develop it, I know they had a architectural firm involved at one time, and they put that suspended that negotiations. But if it's like last time, I mean, last time they came to us and said, could you finish the project? And
It's been a prominent discussion as we've talked about the recreation planning during this process of finding places for all the amenities downtown there. So I know the fields aren't downtown, but that's been part of the discussion when we've worked with the city and the staff and the Keith consultant on finding and building those fields. So phase 2 of DeHornley has been a very big part of that conversation.
okay, well, I know there's still a pot of gold somewhere from the sale of the municipal golf course that I don't know where that is or how it's, whether it's accessible or not, but I would think that in the planning process and our discussion with the city about the recreation, they know that we sorely need that section to be, phase 2 to be done.
Yes.
I just know the campus master plan is like the number one thing going on with them right now. So I hope this hasn't been put on the back burner and not thought about.
It's
and-
been a prominent topic in the discussions for recreation.
The campus master plan is going to take a while. But, and we're going to need to have that done well before their project. But it needs to be front and center and on their mind that we are really concerned about the recreational needs of the community if we don't get that started in the next couple of years.
Mhm.
Okay.
Anybody else? On that?
I have more items, but I just.
Yeah.
I am,
Direction.
again, with the condition that it's not going to affect our ongoing and future projects, I'm all for it. This will give us a free hand to develop the rest of the park so that the residents of the district and the city will be able to take advantage of it in a timely manner. So yeah, if we can manage this, definitely.
I'm in complete agreement with Steve and Bob. If we can do it without affecting anything else, sooner we do that, the sooner the RFPs and the RFIs can go out for other amenities that even the city wants to see out there. So we're not going against the city by doing this. We're going to complement city amenities. So absolutely.
All right, we'll put that on the agenda for the next meeting. The site plan approval for North Park is back before Planning and Zoning Board. I know we mentioned at the last meeting, I went through a whole detailed list of all the different topics on North Park, and I said it was still back in site plan again. So June 26th, we are scheduled for Planning and Zoning to consider approval of the amendment to remove the beautification contribution condition that they placed on the project for a total of $94,000. We pushed back on that and the city agreed to waive that. So hopefully the Planning and Zoning will approve that amendment to the site plan. We got a request from City Code Enforcement to do a structural inspection of the tunnel on the west side of North Park. Miller Lake was able to send out a structural engineer and they did an initial report free of charge to us. Unfortunately, we do need to do some work out there, not on the tunnel itself, but on the walls as you enter in and out of the tunnel. So we fenced the tunnel off completely because people are still going through there, even though it's closed. So we did fence off the tunnel and we're gonna have a work order at our next meeting for the board to look at as far as what needs to be done there. Apparently there's some tree roots pushing on the walls around that. So the tunnel is safe, the road is safe. It's just the walls leading into the tunnel in and out. So we'll have to look at that and do some work over there on that tunnel. Also at our next meeting, we're going to bring a change order for the board to consider. We had originally when we bid the Patrick Park pickleball facility, we also bid to redo those courts. We had a study done back in 2017 that said those courts were nearing the end of their life. We extended that by resurfacing them. They are getting to the end of their life. We're starting to see some mesh and some sand coming up. So while we have a contractor mobilized out there, we'd like to look at that just for savings. So we'll come next week to discuss that and show some photos on that as well. Giving you guys all bad news about more money to spend here. And then on the Patry Pickleball project, it's continuing to move forward. Surface has been poured. That's currently curing. Interior fencing is being installed and the turf is set to be installed next week. Court painting is going to take place mid-July. And that is all I have for my updates.
Question real quick. Did you get
Yes.
the estimates back?
I did get estimates for North Park and the estimates come within the budget that we have. There are some questions that I had about the invasive removal because we've seen a lot higher costs for removing invasive. So I just asked them to reanalyze those numbers to make sure that we present like a fair number. It also doesn't include the skate park. So we're just going to add a little bit more in there for that. But we did get those numbers. It's consistent with the budget that we projected for North Park, around 19 million. So just a couple of things that need to be looked at before we publish that, because I felt like they were a little low.
Legal.
I don't have anything to report this evening, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Okay, Susie?
Just a question, the traffic garden, where do we stand with that?
That's a great question. So we worked after our last meeting, we worked with Shift Construction on a plan to get that within the budget as well as add a little seating and shading. So we are hoping to have that finalized. We just got to look now at the design. If we took out some of the color to lower that price so that we could add some of those other amenities to make it a little more comfortable for people. So we're moving forward on that. Hopefully we'll have some schedule soon. We just approved the layout without some of the color today. So we'll move forward
It'll
with
have
that.
some color though.
Yes, it'll have some color.
Primary colors maybe?
It's going to have a lot of green
Okay.
and the street lines and things will be there. But we will have a little shaded area with some bleachers hopefully as well for people to sit at. So.
Okay.
Bob?
This is a question for Jake. Has the legislative session ended?
Oh, yeah, I believe the governor is on a rolling effort to sign a number of bills.
Okay, that's what I was afraid of. The issue regarding property taxes, did that get?
It did not.
Did not get?
It did not get the traction that we at one point anticipated.
Wonderful.
Steve?
I also have a question for the counselor with regard to the last session. I saw where a statute regarding state control over the installation of turf, being artificial turf, that local municipalities cannot make any regulations without the state's approval. How is this going to affect us, if at all?
But before I answer that, I'd like the opportunity to pull that specific legislation. Can we come back and report on that at the next meeting?
Definitely,
Thank you.
definitely. Other than that, thanks again to the CAP people. You did a great job and you're doing a great service for the city and the district. And I'm good.
All right, well, I have nothing tonight, so we are good to go.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Engel,
Yes.
Commissioner Rollins.
Yes.
Commissioner Vogelsang,
Yes.
Commissioner Wright.
Yes. We are adjourned.
I'm.
Days.